Hey, what's up everybody? So, as you guys may possibly know, I have an Instructables account. And on it, I have something very strange. This, to be in fact. Oh, yeah, there we go. And that is my EMP Power Monger Gauntlet. Little warning label, the light, the switch. The circuit is over here somewhere. There we go. There's the circuit. Oh, actually, this is one of the original circuits. Where'd it go? There it is. It's just a little circuit. Got I don't know if you can see it very well. You see that little red spot? It's wound around the stepper. Then you got the little capacitor. It's LED. Which one are these two bits of solder right here and here are what go to the end of that capacitor and those two wires that you see coming off there. And I believe this piece of solder and that one right in between those two that you can see very well. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. No. So you see these two really big pieces of solder? Well, this piece of solder and this one up here are what these, the one with the red taped to a white and this piece of white right here taped to a black, well, soldered to a black. Those go to the toggle here. I don't know if you can see that very well. Yeah. Those go to the toggle. And that's basically what makes it decide it wants to charge. This, okay, so I did take the thing off this. This circuit doesn't work anymore because there's an amplifier missing. I need to replace that or get a new circuit. I think I'm going to go with replacing the amplifier. I don't know which amplifier it is, but it'll work, I'm sure. Yeah, this is just off of Fujifilm. I don't know if you can see that name right there. Camera. And yeah, that's all the charging circuit really is. But as for the bigger parts, the beastie parts I should say, got the capacitors, 3 massive ones and then 5 smaller ones. These are all about 200 volt, these smaller ones, with about, I want to say, actually I don't know. Let's see if that says 35 degrees Celsius. I don't know, but the capacitance equals about 2 farads. You can see those are just kind of glued on there. I had to re-glue them from the first time because stuff happened. My mom was not too happy about me, and this thing kind of got broke. I fixed it back up mostly. As for the coil, let's see if I can get into the coil a little bit. Give me a moment. Well, I couldn't get into the coil, but I found the wires that go to it. So this one right here, I'll put my finger behind it so you can see, is the negative, obviously, because it's black. Actually, that's just a happy accident that that happened. And I don't know if you can see the color, but this one right there is brown. That is the positive end, because it's on the outside, and electricity goes from negative ions to positive ions. And I think the positive is hooked onto the right terminal there, and the negative is hooked onto the left. Let's see. Oh no, I had that backwards. Negative is on the right, positive is on the left. And so, let's follow that to okay. Just following that, and yeah. So this is the negative. That's right. Okay. Oh, looks like this is disconnected. Let's put that back on there. Yeah. This was my project right before school started. I learned, well, no, not right before, but you know, stuff. And as you can see, I made it into a gauntlet. Mostly because I don't think really anything's getting through those capacitors. And if it does, well, there's a giant coil of copper down there covered in duct tape, so I'm pretty sure that this is thick enough to stop a 22 bullet. Oh well. I'm a prepper. You guys might know that. I doubt it, though. And, let's see if I can uncover some of this wiring that I have hidden. I'm gonna have to re-duct tape some of this. Oh, that's still stuck on there. Okay. So you can see this goes here. There's a joint under here, that's why it goes to a smaller version of wire. Because I think, no, this just goes to a circuit. This goes to the push button switch. The momentary switch here, as you can see. It's obviously not charged, therefore it's not going to do anything. And let's see if I can, give me 2 seconds here. Ooh. Yeah. So connected to this black momentary switch, I really wish I would have used a red one so I could always see it, is this blue wire, which you may have also seen over here, and this black wire, which you've also seen right here, I think. Yeah, those two should be the same wires. I could test it, but I don't really feel like doing that right now on camera. Let's put that back on there. I wish I could show you guys the coil. Actually, you know what? You can see a little bit of tinfoil here. That's for electromagnetic radiation shielding from my arm so that I don't get cancer, even though I probably still will. You know, that's what happens when you use your the electrolytes and water in your arm as a focusing rod for a magnetic field. Let's hope it doesn't really do much to me. But yeah, let me cut this open a little bit and I'll show you guys the coil. Be back in a flash. Okay, here's the coil. You can see the, oh, let me zoom out a bit. You can see the white cords in here. This was made of a bunch of just random mismatched cords that I had. Here's a little patch I cut out to get in there. I'm gonna put that back on now because, you know, safety. Which way did this, it's not it. This might have been it. Yeah, that looks right. That's right. I'm going to put another piece of duct tape over that patch, because, you know, when you're dealing with this much electricity, which, it's a few thousand volts that I can store in these suckers, it's a lot, it's best to have thick plastic shielding in between you and it. That's why it's also on the inside, other than that little white spot that I had to cut out, covered in completely electrical tape, and wrapped and very meticulously done so. Back when I was making it, I found it useful to put a screwdriver in there. I don't know if you can see this hole here. I put a screwdriver in there so that I could have a little tool to work on it with, even though a screwdriver really didn't do anything on this. It was more of a tool to do just about anything else I wanted. Like, you know, pick a lock, stuff like that. I built this for, well, I'm a prepper, and when a computer decides it wants to get a little bit too big for its britches, this is the only good weapon we'll have against it. It's, this little thing here says, EMP Power Monger Gauntlet. Caution, this device does not comply with FCC Part 15. Yeah. It's actually FCC Part 15, subsection C, I should say, that it does not comply with. And I know this. And the FC doesn't like the fact that I know this, and it also doesn't like the fact that I did this. Yeah. As you can see, I got a couple little round pieces here. Let me show you what those are for. This thing actually takes AAA batteries, and it tends to overheat them. So while these are cooling down, I need plenty of extras. So I designed a little, I guess you could call it an ammo case, or an ammo belt for this thing, which is kind of funny. Because, you know, it uses batteries, not bullets. Yeah. So, yeah. That's my little EMP Power Monger Gauntlet as it stands now. I'm working on getting another circuit or the amplifier to fix this one. I'm still not sure whether or not this circuit works or not, other than the amplifier. It should. The capacitor doesn't seem burnt out. LED seems fine. Stepper or transformers don't usually blow. These resistors might have though, and so could that diode. If so, I'll just replace it with another diode. I got plenty. So yeah. So let's see if this thing works. 3, 2, 1. I was kidding, guys. It doesn't work. That static there, I pulled it offline. Yeah. Besides, if this did work, it would wipe the entire memory card. Although I bet you there's probably still some power in those capacitors. They don't like to completely discharge. I mean, I could use some amplifiers and do a whole circuit about that and make it so that it drew more power out faster. But honestly, with this many capacitors and that big a coil, it's not going to make a difference. At least, you don't need it. Also, there's a gargoyle watching. Oh, look at the gargoyle. He sleeps over me. He's pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically my EMP Power Monger Gauntlet. Oh, these are 120 volt AC supercapacitors from refrigerators and stuff like that. I got a guy that works at Duffney's Refrigeration that's based in Minnesota, Aiken-ish area. And that's where I got him from. The guy was super cool. He just gave them to me. Mostly because he saw my little capacitor and my little bank I had put together. And, well, let's just say this thing has enough power to weld. I lost a screwdriver that day. Well, didn't lose it. It just doesn't work anymore. So, yeah. This is a capacitor from a camera, along with this one. This one, right here, this one, and this one are all from old television. Well, this one's from an old television. This is from a PSU from a computer I had a while ago. His PSU was burnt, so I grabbed as many capacitors out of it as I could. I'm planning on putting more capacitors on here, and maybe jury-rigging up a backpack to carry a bunch of capacitors. But for now, this is good. This is all I need. I really need to super glue that one, because I'm afraid that's going to break, and I'm going to have to redo it. And pretty soon, this wire is not going to be long enough to redo it, so yeah, that's going to be a pain in the butt. One of these capacitors didn't have the metal ring that you see in this one. You see those little black spots like right there and there. Yeah, this one didn't have that to keep the cardboard on the end. Well, I guess this one's plastic, but this one over here is cardboard. So I just kind of super glued it. It was fine there. The backs you don't really have to worry much about, and these things stink inside. So if you ever get a capacitor, make sure that those cardboard things stay on the end, because they reek. This entire glove here on the end is just made of duct tape, and this stabilization band in the back is also made of duct tape. It's pretty squishy. Otherwise, this entire coil right here is just covered in a really thick layer of duct tape. The coil itself is about an inch thick, made of 16 gauge wire. Yep. So yeah, that's my EMP device. Oh, and by the way, for all of you that checked out my instructable, now that I have approaching, I don't even know how much it is, I think it's almost approaching 4,000 or 5,000, I don't know, views. Thank you very much. That was my first instructable I ever printed. And sure, I used other people's instructables, but that's because, well, I'm a 17-year-old kid. I don't know how to do this stuff for a living. And honestly, once I found out that you could use the camera circuits like that, it basically exploded everything that I was doing. Actually, back when I was putting this thing together, you see that green, it's like a little basket thing. That used to be my electronics basket, but we moved, so a lot of things happened. I lost a lot of my electronics components and stuff, so yeah. Thank you very much for watching, and hope you enjoyed. Also, if you want to check out the instructable, there's a link right over there to it. Or you could just look up my name, or EMP Power Monger. It's the first thing that shows up every time. So yeah. As always, see you in the next vid.